All right, I'm back already. This should be a short stream, but I want to respond to some pro pit bull narratives. Shout out to everybody in the room. Kayamo, I see you. Look at here. Our good friend, Rebecca Corey. You remember Rebecca Corey. As a matter of fact, I'm going to share a link to this stream on her Twitter. Right? Let's see if I got a screenshot. Yes. Good. That's good. Now let's deal with the tweet. Okay, she's going back and forth with this guy, Ricardo. Ricardo said, there's an anti-dog movement that keeps growing. She said, there's also anti-women movements, anti-gay movements, anti-Muslim movements, and the list goes on, and all of it is wrong. Let's stop there. Yep, let's stop there. Notice, and it's a shame that this has to be pointed out, it's so childish. Notice how she only compared this movement with what she sees as negative movements. There are many other positive movements out there that are noteworthy. Ours is one of them. Okay, so that doesn't work. Now, let's look at the pro pit bull culture. That, to me, is similar to a serial killer culture, a child abuse culture, sacrifice culture, an elderly abuse culture. And guess what? I got the evidence to back it. You cannot project our movement as negative in any way whatsoever. Now, her tweet, let's continue. She said, you're proud the humans are making it their mission to hate voiceless dogs? Wow, that's sick. Sending thoughts and prayers. Listen, this is what I want people to understand about this hate narrative. We have the ability to dislike passionately. That tells me that we were meant to dislike certain things with a passion. The dysfunctional group of people are the ones who don't dislike anything with a passion. Then your population will be doing a lot of sick things because you don't dislike filth, evil, unwarranted attacks with a passion. Instead, you call them, it's just an accident. So when you dislike creatures like this that produce these types of statistics with a passion, especially we're talking about pit bulls. Talking about pit bulls. Responsible for, listen, a good 80% of all deaths by dog attack, a good 80% of them are bully breeds. That's pit bulls, Rottweilers, all those mixes. It all adds up to about 80%. They create unbelievable statistics. Just went over a story about a girl who was hospitalized for 7 days. The girl who was traumatized. 7 days. Everybody who's hospitalized for 7 days, they were attacked by a bully breed. Because if this was the case in that one hospital, most likely that's the case all across the country. That's why I always compare that hospital to the country. You telling me every single patient? It can't be much different in other hospitals. Right? You're talking about a good 5 million dog bites per year, 800,000 emergency room visits, 20 to 30,000 reconstructive surgeries, around 45 deaths per year. Over half all victims, children under 13. You want to support that. You want to support that and call us who don't want to support that sick. I'm sick because I don't want to support those statistics. How so? Now, I know I'm but this is fascinating. I enjoy trying to pick a lunatic's brain. No, this woman, listen, these pit bull lovers, they're only tough. They only act like bullies as long as they're not being called out. As long as who they're talking to doesn't have a voice. She would not engage me in a debate. That's why I have to respond to her tweets. Stuff that she said publicly. This is typical pro-pit bull narratives. This is not a personal attack against her. It's really not about her. She's a public figure. She made a public tweet. It's about the narrative. Voiceless dogs. Dogs not having a voice is irrelevant. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. The only thing that matters is the statistics that they produce. On top of the filth, diseases, and whatnot. But this tweet has some more tweets attached to it. Ricardo said, my point is this. It used to be that dangerous dogs were put to sleep so to protect our communities. Now, even the most damaged dog is saved. Then the dog mauls someone. Oh, Ricky, Rebecca says. Factually, millions of dogs are killed every year by humans. You see, dogs are the victims of humanity daily. And those who run shelters are not activists. She called them silly. They are government employees making a great living. The majority of them are not doing it for animals. Listen, these are dog lovers. These people are dog lovers. These are not anti-dog people working in these shelters. These are people who like dogs. What are you talking about? Stop it. Stop it. On top of that, why are these pit bulls killed every day? Why are so many of them killed? It's because they are jamming these shelters. Why are they jamming the shelters? Because nobody wants them. Those are the dogs that people get rid of most often. They're the most disliked because of the statistics they produce. You think it's just coincidence that the most dangerous dogs are also the ones that fill the shelters? What is this? And this is why it's a waste of time to debate these people. There's nothing that she could say or any other pro-pit bull person could say in response to what I'm saying. It is because their doctrine is based on a distortion of reality. And that's what kills them every time. And all you got to do is bring things back to reality, and it's a wrap. Those dogs are killed because they are taking up, there's too many of them. Not because people are treating them in a bad way. If we wanted to exterminate them, they would be gone. They're allowed to live. They're being adopted out. They're being pampered. What's she talking about? All this suffering. So Ricardo says, but would you say that there are dangerous dogs that should be euthanized, or that every dog can be saved? She says, dogs, like people, are individuals, all uniquely different. Let me stop there. That's another lie. Like I said, dogs never fight other dogs off of the attack of a person. They always help the other dogs. There's no individualism there. Dogs never. I've seen several attacks involving more than one dog. They always help the other dog. Always. Not only that, they all have virtually a missing frontal lobe. There's nothing individual about that. We're talking about the physical makeup of their brain. What are you talking about, individuals? We're far beyond individuals. We're pointing out the fact that these things have the same brain structure. And it's the exact opposite of ours. What are you talking about? Individuals? You see what I'm saying? This is shameful stuff. And listen, the thing is, they believe that this makes sense, that this is a smart thing to say. Dogs are not individuals. They all behave like dogs. All of them. Not only that, you take a pit bull next to a 2-year-old. That pit bull can do things that 2-year-old can't, as far as harming someone. There's nothing individual about that. It's not like the child can make the decision to rip someone to shreds like the dog can. We're talking about species, two totally different species. You're talking about human individuality. You can't even take statements like this seriously. Now, I'm just one voice out of many. People are going to have responses to these tweets in the chat room and the comment section. Please check them out. People are going to have fun with these tweets. She said, any living being getting hurt by any species is awful, but it's about time the focus be on the broken and sick people who torture, starve, abuse, neglect, and kill dogs every day. They are the real danger to our society. Torture, starve, abuse, neglect, and kill dogs every day. Does anyone out there believe that this goes on a large scale? Do you think this happens more often than dog attacks? I've gone over this before. Dogs attack people far more than people abuse dogs. Just look it up. What was it like? One source said like 1 million cases of dog abuse every year. Isn't that right? Something like that. Let's look it up. Every year. I've looked this up before. I know I have. Okay? This Humane Society. Okay. You have to take this with a grain of salt. What do we have here? How many dogs is what I want to know. I don't want to know about no livestock, no farm animals. Dogs exclusively. Dogs are nothing. Okay? You can hardly find anything. They say annually, over 10 million animals are abused to death. That's here in the United States. 10 million are abused to death. That involves all these farm animals. So that's no good. Okay, look at this. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What do we have here? Numbers. Where are the numbers? Right here. What is this? 1 million animals a year are abused or killed in episodes of domestic violence. 1 million? According to the Humane Society? How many are dogs? Just 1 million? Well, you have 5 million dog bites every year. What percentage is dogs? So we already know the number is much lower. Plus, I'm a human. And you eat steak. You eat burgers. You support animal abuse. Stop it. Stop it. Most of these people are not vegan. They eat meat most likely every day. So I don't buy into this. Not only do I think this does not happen on a large scale, I'm a human. And I'm worried about people, myself and others around me. If they're in danger, I'm in danger. So I don't want them to be in danger. Especially with dogs, yeah. Keep them out of our society. Simple as that. If they're not here, then we won't be able to starve or abuse or torture them. If they're not here, these things are pampered, and pampering them is starting to overspill. There's too many of them now, being spoiled, enjoying a rent-free life. What did you say? And who would be concerned about this when these dogs, these same dogs that she's talking about, are the only animals ripping people to shreds? People of all ages, but primarily kids under 13? And why should I be worried about dogs when that is going on, when dogs are carrying that out? That's backwards. No, thank you. No, thank you. So that tweet, that's a fail. That's a fail. That makes no sense. She said they are the real danger to our society. No, it's not. People who torture and abuse dogs are the real danger to our society. Look, it's illegal. I'll give you that. It's illegal, and it'll get you sent to jail. And I always tell people on this channel, don't go doing anything illegal. Don't go beating or people don't. The average person does not get off on doing that, on just abusing. I hate this idea that there are millions of Jeffrey Dahmers, people who in a dark room somewhere beating and stabbing and abusing a dog. Get out of here, man. That's another fake, goofy narrative that has been whipped up by these dog nutters, man. That is all that is. The average person is not doing that. Trust me, dogs attack people far more often. They send more kids to the hospital, far more, than some lunatic somewhere beating on a dog. It's imaginary abuse these people come up with. When you see a pit bull, 9 times out of 10, how well is it being taken care of? You don't see people randomly just beating on dogs. What are you talking about? There's not even that many cases every year. What are you talking about? Half of these dogs, look, dogs in general smack each other around. That's how you gain rank. They bite, attack each other. So some dog owners smack dogs around. When they're not smacking them around, they're feeding them, giving them free food and shelter. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm telling you what's going on. And what you're saying makes no sense. Now he says, would you say that there are dogs that have been so abused that they've become a danger and that should never be allowed to be placed with a family? She said, I sure would. And I would also say that the two-legged type who abused the dog should also be removed from society. You know why? Because factually, those who abuse and kill animals will likely often go on to commit crimes. Oh, stop. Well, more stats they can't prove. More, I don't care how many serial killers they found, mass shooters they found who abused an animal, a dog, when they were young. You don't know how many people smacked a dog around and never went on to hurt people. So you have nothing to compare that against. You have these sporadic mass shooters, and you want to project them as some type of massive portion of the population. That is so goofballish. That's so clumsy and goofy. Their logic, man, the way they structure their arguments is so goofy. But what makes you angry is that they believe they believe in it. They truly believe what they're saying. They're totally convinced, even though it sounds that ridiculous. Dogs totally depend on us. 100%. We don't totally depend on dogs. Compare the relationship. They depend on us 100%. And they get pampered. They're always projected in a positive light. You can't say that these secret abusers are the greatest threat to society. No, you, the people who are in possession of these things, are the greatest threat to society. Okay? Whatever dog lovers, pit bull lovers say, reverse it. And you'll have the truth. Isn't that the pattern? Everything they say, it's an inversion of the truth. This is the craziest thing. I told you it's like Satanism. In Satanism, they have this thing with doing things backwards. They said Aleister Crowley used to even walk and talk backwards. Wow. So yeah, that's goofy. Talking about removing people from society. Her, other pit bull lovers, like I said, they would make the decision to migrate with other humans each and every time if given the option between humans and pit bulls. They can only be these pit bull lovers in a society comforted and facilitated, created, maintained by humans. Dogs can't. Without humans, you wouldn't even have the resources to keep or feed these things. You wouldn't have nothing. The world that dogs totally depend on for survival is the world humans create for them. Don't sit there and tell me that they somehow deserve that type of treatment and that the greatest threat to society is these few little abusers sprinkled here and there throughout the population. And these same creatures exclusively responsible for attacks on you, people in general. It's rare for people to be attacked by lions and bears. Dogs lead the pack by far. And like I always point out, 50%, over 50% of all victims are under 13. And sickeningly, that includes infants. If you could believe that. Why? There's nothing to talk about. Who puts a stamp of approval on the slaughter? And this happens every year, mind you. Multiple infants and toddlers are tortured and slaughtered every year by dogs. And this is very consistent. And the attacks are only increasing. Like, what are we even talking about? What are we talking about here? This is not a debate. This is me this is us examining insane people. We're just examining insanity. This is insanity. Creatures that totally depend on us and are exclusively responsible for really the most horrific maimings and injuries that humans suffer. What other animal leaves us in the type of condition that pit bulls leave us in? Now, we have the doctors who said they look like shark attack victims. Shark attack victims. Generally, people are, listen, I've shown the videos. Natural animals, for the most part, they're going to try to avoid you. Now, we might have to kill an animal, a lion that comes into town here and there. Just like we go into their territory, they'll probably kill us. But that doesn't, we're not going to go slaughter all of the mountain lions because they keep to themselves for the most part. Dogs don't. Totally dependent on us. But yet we're the abusers and the greatest haters of pit bulls. You got a whole industry creating dog food for them and all kinds of stuff. Movies dedicated. What are you talking about? We treat them like deities. Like, it blows my mind. When I read these comments, it's like, are they knowingly, are like playing dumb? Some of the things they say, man, it's like there's no way they actually believe all of this. Now, look at this. To give you an example of what I'm talking about, like this. Both horribly abused by humans, both born inherently good. Okay? Horribly abused by humans. Like there's some type of culture of it. These things are not getting abused like that. I don't know. What are these people even talking about when they go on about that? Are they talking about these pit bulls that are found shot and beaten? That has to be what they're talking about, right? These stories, these reports that come out where they found a pit bull somewhere shot or something. Again, those stories, we don't know what happened. We never know. We never find out what happened. And like I said, most likely, most of them were the result of the dog having attacked someone, and you the one specialize in putting that same dog in somebody else's home. That's what's sick. That's the sick behavior. What are you talking about? Us telling you to get rid of these things, that's not sick. That's very sane, humane, and moral. Like I said, they're mutants. They shouldn't even exist. They carry all these dysfunctions because they're so mutated. And you want to keep them alive, so what? So they could suffer some more? Now look at this other tweet. Like stuff like this, statements like this. Thanks to all who attended and are dedicated to saving the lives of these special souls. Special souls? You see how they go overboard? It's almost like they go to the extreme to counter the fact that they're aware that they're killers. That's their way to offset the fact that they know that these things are a danger to society. They are fully aware that these things, I don't want to hear about, oh, my dogs never attacked me or anyone. Shut up. You don't know if they're going to attack you in the future or not. You don't know. You just have to wait and find out. Just like all the other attack victims. They were just like you. All of them were just like you. It was part of the family. And they ended up with half a face. Right? Pit bull turned your face inside out. So, do you think it's smart to volunteer to end up like that? I don't think so. Special souls. That's like an admission. Did you know these things are inherently dangerous, inherently guilty, harmful, not innocent? Nothing that can rip people to shreds can be considered innocent ever. There's nothing special about their worthless. They have no soul. These are soulless mutants, nothing but a gathering of neurons and electrons, misfiring, mismanaged, mutated, brainless, thoughtless, soulless mutant with no emotions, no frontal lobe, which makes humans humane, special, powerful, intelligent. They do not possess even the brain required to be as intelligent as they pretend that they are. Ain't that incredible? Trying to pretend that something that's physically, its brain is physically structured to be dumb. Pretending like it's intelligent and can love. They attribute the exact traits on these mutants that you need a frontal lobe for. Love, compassion, love. That's the frontal lobe. All those emotions. They're literally pretending. You're not going to sit there and tell me that I'm better off pretending, joining in with you, pretending that a lethal creature is harmless. I'm not going to engage in that foolishness. People, you have to stop allowing people to make you feel guilty or dumb or evil for not wanting to be around one of these good for nothing accidents. These things are unwanted accidents on this earth. Nature did not create them. And if you release them into nature, nature will exterminate them. They cannot live in nature because they're not natural. We're not obligated to love anything that the universe itself does not want to exist. Shout out to everybody able to join me for this brief live stream. It felt good. And I hope to see you all on the next as we continue with this crusade.